Hello, everyone. Welcome to this assembly, this act of collective worship. Even though we're all in our own homes, there's no reason why we shouldn't carry on virtually being together and praising God. So, like we do at school, I've got a candle here and I'm going to light it because it helps us to remember the presence of Christ as light of the world in our homes and in our lives. And I'm going to say, peace be with you and always with you. So this Friday, it will not have passed your notice that it's 75 years since VE Day, 75 years since the end of World War II, the Second World War. And our country had been at war for 6 years, 6 long years. And it was a scary time and a really difficult time. Lots of people went off to war and lots of people didn't come back. So it was really difficult. And on that day, on the 8th of May 1945, Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister, made his announcement that the war was over. And although some people were quite sad because they'd lost loved ones, everyone was really happy because it was the end of the war, which was amazing. I've got some photos here, which I'm going to show you through the screen, and they'll tell you all about how people celebrated in the war. So here we see people dancing for joy out in the streets. There are an estimated 50,000 people just in Piccadilly Circus in the middle of London. That's one square in the middle of London, 50,000 people. And they were all dancing and celebrating. People spoke to and hugged people that they'd never even met before. There was music on gramophones and accordions and barrel organs, and everyone sang and danced to the tunes that they all knew, the popular tunes that were around then. In this picture, we can see some young people celebrating, and they're actually in the fountain in the middle of Trafalgar Square in London. Now, these people are giving the V for victory sign, probably a sign they never thought that they'd be giving a few years before that. Now, this slide shows Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister at the time, very famous man, waving to the huge crowd. Can you see how many people there are there? Earlier that day, he had announced that the war was over. And there were huge, huge crowds with lots of people dressed in the UK flag colours, red, white, and the blue. And they cheered King George VI and his family, including Princess Elizabeth, who is our current Queen, Queen Elizabeth, and her sister, Princess Margaret. And they all came out on the balcony to greet everybody. So Princess Elizabeth, who's on the left in this slide, and her sister, who's on the right, were allowed to leave the palace in secret and go and celebrate with the crowds. And the Queen later described it as one of the most memorable nights of my life. And many people also attended church to thank God for the victory, and the church bells rang out to signal the end of the fighting. And after years of wartime restrictions, rationing was slightly lifted for things like food and clothes, and people felt freer. Now, these two girls are waving flags, but if you look in the background, they're actually standing in the rubble of a bombed out building. For those who had lost loved ones in the war, it was time to reflect. And before they celebrated, many went to churches and cathedrals to spend some time in prayer and remember their relatives who had been killed in the war. So, some memories there. I just burnt myself on the candle. Some memories there, some old photographs. And even though we weren't there, we can still join in with celebrating the end of war because war is so horrid. So, but it still has lots of memories for people. The end of the war, the end of any war. And although, like I said, we weren't there, we still have lots of memories of good times as well. Perhaps a birthday. Perhaps you've had a birthday since we've been in lockdown. And I expect it was lovely, whatever you did. But we have good memories of lots and lots of different things. And sometimes it's just really good to reflect on those. Now I'm going to show you how to make a memory box. So, and in your memory box, you can put things that remind you of really good times. And yeah, so I'm going to show you how to do that. Now I'm going to move this candle. To make our memory box, we will need a pair of scissors. Now, some of you will obviously need help with the scissors, and that's absolutely fine. We'll need some wrapping paper of some sort, and I've just got plain brown wrapping paper here, but you can use some birthday wrapping paper or anything really, just to wrap your box in. Now this is my box. It looks quite big. It's not actually that big, but you can use any size box you like as long as it's going to take all the bits that you want to put inside it. You're also going to need some sticky tape, some sellotape, and I have this very helpful dispenser I keep mine in. And then I'm going to decorate my box, so I've got some felt pens as well. So let's get on and decorate the box. So that's how I wrapped the box, and I've since decorated it. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but it says Helen's Memories, and I put some pretty flowers on it. And inside, I put some things which remind me of good times. So I have put in here a teddy bear dressed as a monk. There we go. Because I had a lovely day out with my daughter last summer. Oh, was it the summer before? Anyway, and we had such a lovely day, and we went somewhere and we bought this teddy bear. And so I can remember that wonderful time that I had with my daughter that day. I've also put in, amongst other things, a Christmas tree. Actually, it's a pen, but I love Christmas. It's my absolute favourite time of year, and Christmas always brings me joy when I think about it. The presents and the family being all together, and the games that we play, and everybody's happy, and the food's delicious, and that we get to celebrate Jesus' birthday, which is just so important. So So I've put a little bit of Christmas in my box. And I've also put a cross. Now this is a palm cross. And if you go to church on Palm Sunday, you get given this palm cross. Palm Sunday is the Sunday before Easter Day. And then you keep it for a whole year. And I've still got this one. And it's reminding me of two things. It's reminding me of the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. And it's also reminding me that the church is closed and that next Palm Sunday I will be, all being well, able to go to church and receive another palm cross. So it's a very hopeful palm cross for many reasons at the moment. So that's why it's in there. There we go. So memory box. So do try and do one yourselves and put in some lovely memories. As you go through the next days and weeks and months or even years, or perhaps for your life, just have a nice box where you put things that remind you of really good, happy times that you can celebrate. Good. And of course, God is in our happy times as well as our sad times. And we must never forget that whatever we do because God has given us the ability to be happy. Whatever we do, whether we eat or sleep or pray, whatever we do it all for the glory of God. Do you know we're going to pray now? So close your eyes because there's nothing worth looking at. And put your hands together because there's nothing worth playing with for the next few seconds. And we're going to say the Lord's Prayer together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen. So peace be with you, and I will see you soon. God bless.